In case you don't know, I am a very avid anti-feminist. I believe it has created many, many problems in the modern day society. What I found here today is a middle ground segment between feminists and anti-feminists, and it's just like a 50-minute long debate. So, yeah, I figured we'll react to this and I'll give you my insight. But yeah, let's jump right into it.
If you're a woman, you should be a feminist.
I think the concept of anti-feminism is like counterintuitive as a woman. Like everyone should want equality of sexes, you know? Everyone should want to have the
See, but like a smart woman realizes that equality between the sexes isn't possible because men and women are different. By default, there cannot be equality when there is a difference. The men and women can have equal value. I believe men and women bring an equal value, but they each bring their own unique values to the table, and then it evens each other out, and then, they both actually get to contribute the best parts of each other, and then, they kind of fit together like puzzle pieces and create something truly beautiful, which is the family, of course. But feminism is anti this. So, yeah, that's why a woman would be anti-feminist.
same education level, the same all these things in a position and still make as much as a person who identifies as male.
In this society, we have to be feminists as women because there's certain things going on where our rights are being stripped away, and
What right? The right to kill your child? Off.
Black women, Black trans women are more likely to be murdered and attacked, and that's absolutely a feminist issue, and that's something that everyone should care about.
Everyone of any gender expression, men included, should be feminists.
I think there are different brands of feminism, if you will, that don't represent what I think all of us here feel is the true ideal of what feminism
Absolutely.
is.
And I don't think that everyone has to be active as a feminist in the exact same way. Like, not everybody can march, not everybody can protest, not everybody can really be an advocate for feminism.
At the end of the day, it's taking a look at patriarchal systems and seeing
Patriarchy is actually incredibly based. Every single great society in history was a patriarchal society. Any society that has extreme success, patriarchal. It just makes sense. And if you disagree, then go and live in a failed country. Every time I bring this up, everybody's like, it points to some obscure tribe in Africa. It's like, look how that turned out for them. Africa is probably the worst place in the world. You really wanna be there. You'd really rather live in a random tribe in Africa that's matriarchal than any patriarchal country in the West, which is every country.
the flaws in those systems and how they negatively impact everyone.
I pause on that thought. Can the disagreeers step forward?
Define woman. Go, please. One of you.
A person who their internal idea of what they are is a woman.
Terrible definition. Coming from a lesbian, that destroys the very concept of our sexual orientation. Just saying that it's an idea.
why?
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 Because you can't be connected and sexually attracted to somebody's brain.
Let's make sure to keep it to the prompt. If you're a woman, you should be a feminist. Why do y'all
Oh,
disagree
okay,
with
okay,
that?
okay.
I completely disagree. You know, exactly 2 years ago, if I had done this, I probably would be a feminist. But then I started to look at, and I think the agreeers actually mentioned is, like, what do Black women gain from feminism? Because I remember even during Black Lives Matter, when I led two protests for Black women, and I counted how many white women I saw there, and the ones who were there who were just there to take pictures for social media, and then the Black men also hiding behind us. Everyone, the whole world hides behind Black women. Enough.
Same thing.
And they just brought on a bunch of liberals to debate these feminists. That's kind of gay. That's annoying. Yeah, I'm sure there's at least one legit conservative on the anti-feminist side, but we have a lesbian here, which I'm familiar with her. She has some conservative takes, like she's kind of based sometimes, but still a lesbian, so not great. And then a BLM activist, she's like, feminism isn't anti-racist enough. To be fair, feminism is like it's founded upon racist. It's founded behind a eugenicist who created abortion to kill black babies. The most dangerous place in New York for a black child is their own mother's womb. That's the spot we are in today. So, if you want to make the argument that feminism is racist, go ahead. But I mean, let's not act like everybody in the world is just hiding behind black women. Nobody. Yeah, it's just retarded. Bad argument.
Thing that's
Matter of
happening. Look
fact.
what's happening in Iran. People on the feminist side right now are not speaking up for those Iranian women. I have a friend that is a trans woman living in Iran right now. It's miserable. Nobody stands up for that poor girl.
As a woman, I particularly think I'm a humanist. For example, 2 years ago, I was a raging feminist, and I made a decision to pivot my platform, teach Black women how to sit in our feminine energy because we've never experienced that.
Well, that just sounds like Black feminism to me, teaching women how to do that in the time that we are in now.
But we're not learning fast enough. We deserve to rest. We deserve to relax. We deserve to choose if we want to be a traditional wife. I went from law to being a CEO to now I just want to be a housewife. And every time I say that, I get so much hate. Like, women work so hard to get to this point. Why do you want to be a housewife? Because
that's what
that's
you
my
want.
choice.
That's what you want. That's the whole
choice.
point.
Feminism is
The people who are anti-housewives are so incredibly stupid. The family unit, like, it works so much better when there is a housewife. The children consistently turn out better. The marriages consistently last longer. They end up being more successful. There's a higher percent chance of the marriage actually being a successful one when the woman is a housewife because it allows for the man and the woman to actually counteract each other, counteract each other's energies, and then they bring the best of both worlds together to create something amazing. So yeah, housewives, those are based, very epic.
all about choice.
Exactly. Why can't I choose? That's the whole point of feminism. It's like, why can I choose? What are you missing in America to claim that you are oppressed as a woman?
Well, we just had our rights to our own uteruses stripped away.
Well,
by-
the
Right to murder your own baby, though. I mean,
it's not a rape.
So true, so true. Yeah, you no longer have the right, quote unquote, to murder your child. This argument is so retarded. This is why feminism is stupid and always will be.
Maybe it's a clump of cells.
I mean, we all are clump of cells, right?
They're just a clump of cells. So yes, so is everything in the world. Literally everything. You could technically be described as a clump of cells. It's not an excuse to kill it.
Here,
I think everybody's going to agree and disagree.
yeah,
on
that's
that,
a
but
whole.
I don't know if that's another topic. That's another topic.
I had a very, very hard time not stepping up to that prompt because my whole life I did consider myself a feminist. Seeing
Oh, nice ad. Very epic. I swear, these 15-second ads are awful. Oh, jeez.
Let me ask you something. What do you normally look for in body wash? Do you look for clean ingredients? Native body wash.
the right to murder your own baby, though. I mean,
It's not.
Currently, and
There we go.
the Women's Day was celebrated by 2 trans women who still had their male parts. I mean, you're pushing women out of womanhood.
I'm sure we're going to have discussions about whether or not a trans woman is a woman, but I actually want to go back to how we feel that our ideal of feminism is probably not the way that you four think of feminism. I'm willing to bet.
I agree with that. I think that's why people like me stepped away from that. Not because we're not women empowered or believe in women empowerment.
It's because we are women empowered.
It's because we believe women empowerment means something different than what you guys believe in.
And what I've seen now. Pause there. We're going to reset. Next prompt. There's no wrong reason to get an abortion.
Any reason is a wrong reason, except when the mother is dying. Even then, you could make an argument that it's not a good reason, but it's acceptable. It's acceptable when the woman is dying, but any other reason is not justification for killing a child. Gay, traitor, lesbian.
all right, if you were making a health decision between you and a medical professional that is the right decision for you, your body, your future, it is always the right decision.
I would never stand between anyone with a uterus from making a decision about their body.
Jew. That's a Jew. Shocker, the Jew wants to murder babies. Kidding, I'm not anti-Semitic. Not really. Yeah, let's keep going.
No, yeah, they're like, you can do it. You can have this you can have this health care if you are a victim of incest or a victim of rape. It's like you should be able to have access to that. What if you want it? You know, it's the same as going into the doctor and getting a routine check. If there's something
Killing your child is the same as getting a routine check. Man, the mental gymnastics required to be a feminist is insane.
for your body that you think will, you know, not just benefit you, but help you live and also help you sustain an actual good life for your child, then that's what you need to do.
And
yeah.
financial is a huge thing too.
It is a huge thing.
It's an extremely huge financial responsibility to have a kid, and some people just don't have that means.
I agree and disagree. I'm definitely pro-choice. I'm probably the only anti-feminist that's pro-choice.
Being pro-choice, pro-abortion is actually very common. It's like 78% of Americans.
Okay, so yeah.
There's actually many people who are in your category.
To me, it makes sense in certain circumstances. I don't think people should be using abortion as a form of birth control.
She said there's no wrong reason. You just agreed with that prompt, so use your brain for like 3 seconds and figure out what you're actually agreeing with.
I think, to me, abortion's, believe it or not even the issue we need to be talking about right now. I feel like we need to be talking about how to properly educate people, no matter what they're...
Why would abortion not be the issue? The abortion is the leading cause of death in America right now. The leading cause of death. And that's not an issue to you. Wow, you're brain dead.
Status is, no matter what their sexual orientation, whatever. And we need to go from there.
Well, I think I have a very interesting perspective on this because my mother opened the first Planned Parenthood in our state, and she is very pro-abortion outwardly. But inwardly in our home, we weren't allowed to do it. And so growing up at that dichotomy really, I think, messed me up a lot because I was like, okay, which one is the truth?
There are wrong reasons to get an abortion. A wrong reason to get an abortion is if you are going through your pregnancy and all of a sudden you change your mind. If you are irresponsible and all of a sudden finding yourself scared of motherhood.
When people say that women are getting abortions because they just don't want to be pregnant anymore, they're not actually understanding the way that an abortion works. Most of the time they're talking about late-term abortions, and what a lot of people don't realize is when you have that kind of abortion, you have to give birth to the fetus. There's no going back. You're literally giving birth to a body. It's never just a, whoop, I don't feel like being pregnant anymore. Guess these last 8 months I just wasted everything. No one's doing that.
People are doing that. I mean, it's a small minority of abortions, but people are absolutely doing that. But even after like 12 weeks, the cause of death is already like they just rip apart the fetus limb by limb. They rip apart your baby. They literally decapitate the child. It's so incredibly disgusting. Like, you can start to tell it's a little baby at, like, 12 weeks. Even before that, you can start to make it out a little bit. But, yeah. It's not defending early-term abortion either. Like, saying, oh, late-term abortion, it's really awful. It doesn't make late or early-term abortion any better. It's still evil all across the board because life begins at conception. And you can't disprove that life doesn't begin at conception. There's no argument there. Everybody that knows anything agrees that life begins at conception. What you have to do to be pro-abortion is make an argument that it is acceptable to kill that child before birth. You can't even make the stance that it's not a child. You have to make a stance that it's acceptable to kill that child. And that needs insane mental gymnastics to do. You have to be a truly despicable person.
Raising children is the most blessed gift. And I speak as someone who, when I found out that I was expecting for the first time, I kid you not, I was terrified.
But you were prepared.
No. I was not necessarily prepared. I was not prepared. And I was very much caught off guard. And I was terrified because I had an incredible career happening for me.
Finances.
On the upswing.
Finances.
Let me finish. I had such a dramatic fearful reaction to becoming a mother because of what our society has been telling me throughout my adolescence and my early 20s, is that once you become a mother, it's all over and it ends. And that is a very, very deeply rooted problem in our society that I do think we need to address.
That sentiment.
Yeah, the truth is, it's like you embark on a new journey upon parenthood. And that's what we need to be teaching to people. We don't need to be teaching them, oh, it's the end of your life and it's the start of a new one. No, it's the end of your current life. And it's a new journey for you. It's the next step, the consequential next step in life. And it's one that is borderline necessary for you to take. And it's something that you should be excited for and not fearful of.
Is the patriarchy in action, though.
What is the patriarchy?
What isn't the patriarchy?
They can't even define it. One girl laughs and one girl is like, what isn't the patriarchy? Like, oh my gosh.
I feel like that's the better question.
That's the better question. Like, OMG, what isn't the patriarchy? Everything is a patriarchy. This show is the patriarchy, actually.
It's a systemic ideal that favors masculinity.
That's the most retarded definition of the patriarchy I've ever heard. Let me give you an actual one. The patriarchy is a system which is run by men, right? It's the system which is led by men, right? Men are the ones that are leading the society, which isn't a bad thing. Men were meant to be leaders. It's just in our biology. Men were made to lead, and that's what the patriarchy is. The embracement of the natural way of things. It's the embracement of male leaders. It's not a society that favors men, but it's a society that is led by men and created by men. And it's not created for men either. It's a society led by men, created by men, for women and children. In the patriarchy, women and children are almost always put first. Look at like a ship's going down. Who gets off first? Who got off first on the Titanic? Women and children. Who Who opens the door, right? Like, you're walking in. Who opens the door? It's the man. Who pays? It's the man. It's a society built by men, led by men, for women and children. And that's a good thing. Who has to go to work every day to bring home the finances, bring home money to provide for the wife and the child? It's the man, it's the husband, because that's the natural way of doing things. The patriarchy isn't favored for men, it's not built for men, it's built by men. That's the difference. That's the common misconception that liberals seem to have. Just because it's built by men doesn't mean it's better for men. There's a reason male suicide is so much higher. Men struggle a lot in the patriarchy, just like everybody else does. But that's okay. That's necessary to build something great, to build a functional family unit, to make a functional society. Someone has to suffer, and men took up that role of that suffrage. And that's what the patriarchy is. And it's very based, and it's something that we need to keep alive and keep strong.
Men,
Male power, male dominance.
the traditional idea of what a man is.
The patriarchy is a system that oppresses not just women, but everyone.
How does it oppress women or everyone? That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't. Give it one example. You can't. You literally can't. It's just not true.
It's not patriarchy because the people.
I mean, yeah, it's not the fear of becoming a mother is not patriarchy. But I just wish it wasn't used as like a bad thing, because the patriarchy is not necessarily bad, but people like they hear this buzzword so much that that's how they view it today.
People who scared me so much were the women mom bloggers.
Just because it's coming from a woman.
Coming from women does not mean
But
that
these
it's
were
not
the
from
no.
patriarchy.
These were the women, and I speak with really strong conviction about this. The women who are publicly outward speaking to other women through blogs, through social media, talking about my life is so hard because of my kids. Oh, my kids are jerks. Oh, life is this. I have no money. Those messages are very, very pervasive, and they're very dangerous, and they're toxic
But
to
they're
women.
also real parts of motherhood. We just discussed how motherhood.
How many of you are mothers here?
I am not a mother, but
Okay, I am a mother of 12 years. And I know all of the very, very hard parts of motherhood. And I just wish, as someone who has actually, as the only person here who has gone through this motherhood experience, I, from the bottom of my heart, wish that the positive aspects of motherhood supersede all of the hard stuff.
Let's get back on prompt. Again, there's no wrong reason to
That is absolutely on prompt. This lady is annoying me.
get an abortion.
Talking about the beauties of motherhood is incredibly important in the dialogue about abortion.
Isabella,
I wanna-
I want to hear from Isabella.
There's been so many points I want to talk
I was gonna
about.
talk about Candace, maybe. Candace, what she says about.
I don't even know what she said.
Oh,
Just let her talk.
sorry.
So my parents actually had me when
Friggin' lesbian trying to control the conversation.
they were 19, and thank God they didn't abort me. They were not ready. They were in a terrible situation, and having me at 19 made them grow up and mature and become adults and not continue.
Yep, that's something you'll notice about everybody that's pro-abortion. They weren't aborted as a baby. I'd really be interested to hear from the millions and millions of people who have died because of this grotesque act. I wonder what they think about the action that allowed for them to be murdered. Man, it's grotesque, it's disgusting, it's despicable, it's vile, and it needs to be fought back against. Because people like this, she could be dead right now if her parents listened to the pro-abortion activists. Disgusting.
Being on a bad path. So I'm thankful for that. And a lot of, something that you said it's society's, I think it was about society's pushing this idea, like demonizing motherhood, and you said that's part of the patriarchy. Well, I would ask you this, don't you think men benefit from women getting abortions because they no longer have to deal with it? They
Absolutely. There's nothing patriarchal about abortion. It is incredibly anti-patriarchy. Men do not benefit. Men only benefit. I guess, okay. I don't think my argument is going along with what she's saying, because my argument, because she also doesn't understand the patriarchy. Like, I already explained the patriarchy to you guys. But, yeah, men also benefit from the patriarchy. Or not, excuse me. Men also benefit from abortion. Men don't have to deal with a child for 18 years because of abortion. They just get to go around and keep, like, sleeping around because they were able to convince their girl to abort their child, which is so gross, so disgusting. It's a male benefited thing. It's not something that's fighting back against, like, the patriarchy that they made up in their heads, the evil one that doesn't exist. I explained that super poorly, but I think you get what I'm saying, and it's so true. So ver.
They can just sleep around, and if, God forbid, a woman gets pregnant, oh, she wants to abort it. Cool, now I'm off the hook.
What is the patriarchy?
I don't even know what that men oppress us and
That everything that goes
Yeah, see, nobody actually understands what the patriarchy is. It's seriously just a buzzword that means male oppressors.
wrong, that men are to blame. And I don't think that's a healthy way of being.
very happy to live under this so-called patriarchy.
Based woman. She's awesome. I'm gonna marry her. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I might. We'll see.
This word patriarchy, it does not make any sense to me. Women are not oppressed in America.
Patriarchal society doesn't bother me. Like Marilyn Monroe says, as long as I can be all of a woman in it, I am not bothered.
Yeah, the patriarchy actually empowers women to be women. It empowers their femininity. It encourages them to express their womanhood to its fullest potential. It allows for them to be expressive, to embrace the beautiful nature of femininity. And that's very awesome and very epic. In a society that is like matriarchal, it forces women to become masculine and it pushes down legitimate womanhood. And yeah, the patriarchy is just a win for everybody. You know, it allows for a great society, allows for men to step up in their masculine role and become leaders, become providers. It allows for women to truly express their femininity, and it allows for the children to be brought up in a beautiful, loving family and a society that truly cares about them. Man, the patriarchy is awesome.
The feminist movement is inherently racist.
So true. Based woman.
The feminist movement does not benefit.
These feminists, they are so like, this woman for sure has a bunch of white guilt. Like, I'm sure, like, I call based for understanding that feminism is kind of racist. Because it's true. It totally is. And I bet she kind of understands the history. These two are just like, Oh yeah, I have to agree with the black woman because everything is racist. White supremacy, guys. The made up white supremacy that doesn't exist. I've never actually met a legitimate white supremacist. And every time I hear about a white supremacist in the media, like the last one was some Mexican shooter. So yeah, I've met black supremacists, but yeah, white ones don't seem to exist. They're very elusive. They're very hidden. They blend in. I don't know. It's retarded.
POC in any shape or form. It especially does not benefit Black women. And the darker your skin is, the more you are used. I call us Black women as the bullets for the
So
feminist
true.
movement.
If we're talking historically, if we're talking how feminist movements started, it was an exclusionary movement. If we go back to the suffragettes or even further, Black women were not allowed to join in that effort because they really weren't fighting for Black women.
Until we were used as bullets.
Right.
If we're not being used, we can't be part of the movement.
They did use black women. They used black women's efforts because most of the most achievements that feminism, you're right, like most of the achievements of feminism have been done by black women, and white women have stepped in and taken
I don't really
credit.
care. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about this whole racism thing, so I'm gonna just skip ahead to this next section. So, oh, another ad. I love YouTube
2024
ads.
Chevy Silverado HD with Duramax diesel.
They're shaking, they're sweating, and you're just like, be yourself. Just, it's all for the child. We need men to provide. We need men to produce. It's
Okay, let's-
If you don't have the money to drive to get an abortion, how are you going to have the money to raise that child? Why should you be
Let's
forced into motherhood?
Feminists don't appreciate all that men do for society.
So true.
I mean, I've got a lot to say about this. Feminists
This girl is so based. I'm in love, not gonna lie.
just demonize men. They hate men. All men are trash. They say they hate men while simultaneously trying to become men. They hate them for having power and the patriarchy, so they're trying to overtake it. But a lot of women will talk
Classic Isabella W.
about rape culture. But guess what? Guess who's going to protect you from bad people? A man.
We
Women are
need
nurturers.
men.
We need men.
It's as simple as that. It's
Women need men, and men need women. It's so basic, yet nobody can comprehend this because autism.
a God-given right for men to exist the way they were assigned to exist. We need men. It's very simple. We need men to procreate. We need men to provide. We need men to produce. We need men to go to war and die. We need men. It's so bad now that men can.
Provide, produce, and protect. Yeah, that's a pretty good. The 3 Ps. PPP. The PPP of the importance of manhood. I'm stealing that forever now. Provide, protect, produce. It's so true and so real. It makes us all seem kind of like drones, but it's okay. It's still based.
They're so scared of us. They're terrified all the time. I go on dates with men. And they're like, am I allowed to open the door? Can I not open the door? Can I touch it? Can I pull the chair out? What can I do? And they're shaking. They're sweating. And you're just like, be yourself. Just, it's okay. They're so afraid of doing anything wrong. So much so they're now the most lonely demographic in the world, right? Like they straight white men, I heard, are now the most lonely because they just creating incels, They don't want to leave their apartment or their house because they're so afraid of women.
I'm not on board with this trend, especially happening in schools right now. There is a trend where they are raising up the girls. Girl power, girl boss, girl this, run like a girl in the best way possible.
You're gonna make me vomit.
That's, it's dangerous. It is dangerous because, yes, we want to uplift our women. That's the right thing to do so that men and women do maintain equality. But at the same time, by raising the girls, we are forgetting about our boys.
Yeah, they want to solve inequality by enforcing more inequality. And if women were equal to men, then why do the girls need to be raised up so much? Why? The only men that feminists like are men dressing as women and dominating their sports and just really reversing what the other waves of feminism fought to do. Have fun with men beating you in your sports, women, because guess what? You're not going to beat them. Have fun. I never even felt unequal, so I don't even know what the problem is. I feel like a lot of people just want to have a reason to be upset and outraged. I also just don't identify with all these identity politics groups. I think they're being pit against each other, separating all these different people by race, class, gender, everything, sexual orientation, and I look at people as individuals.
All right, on that note, let's have the disagreeers step forward.
There's a difference between not appreciating men and pointing out the inequities that have been systemically put in place to favor men, especially white men, white straight men. There's a difference between hating men and pointing out that there are inequities.
I want to talk about this concept of protection. We're talking about good men who are protectors. Who are they protecting us from?
The bad men.
Bad men, exactly.
Yeah. Or bad women, bad anybody.
I could drive a car and
it was a rhetorical. I guess.
No, I understand the point you were trying to make. That's why I said what you wanted me to say.
But I'm going to finish. So then who benefits from men's bad behavior? Good men as well, right? They get to be positioned as the good guys.
Good apples.
They're the good apples. And that is predicated on the bad behavior of men.
No, they benefit from being a good person and protecting women. Who cares? We should not be praising people based off comparing them to bad people.
But I don't benefit from being a good girl.
You're a good feminist, right? I'm sure people love what you have to say as a feminist. Other feminists agree with it and are like, yes, go girl boss. They do.
There are good people on earth and bad people on earth. We're always going to have that. That will never change. It's in every animal kingdom. So we need the good man to protect us from the bad man.
To go off of what you said, because you said when women are sexually assaulted, they turn to another man to protect them. I work as a sexual assault and domestic violence counselor. I work with rape victims every single day. They don't turn to men to protect them. They don't.
I didn't say they turn to them. I was saying they potentially can, if you're walking home alone at night and
I
you're
don't
afraid.
turn to another man. I don't. I turn to other women.
Yeah, I appreciate men that, I love a man that knows his place. Build the house. Yeah, repair that. Because I'm a goddess. If you need to hold your weight in the relationship. I appreciate men. I love men. Just like you said, you have a husband, you want to cook for your
She loves men so much that she wants to strip their role from society.
husband, you make sure that he's good. Men have roles in society as well. Feminist is anything you want it to be. As a woman, I am promiscuous because I'm a feminist, but you can also be conservative because I'm a feminist. Modern day feminism is about you and what you make it and not what someone 60 years ago said it was. But I don't praise men because they aren't raping.
I agree with everything you just said.
You're agreeing with us.
I agree with you
the
fully.
same exact thing.
But
That's
I
actually the
disagree with
movement.
the prompt because I do appreciate men. I don't think that feminists don't appreciate men. I think that's not true.
The person who taught me to be the feminist that I am was my father. Yeah. My father did not raise me to believe that I was less than because I was a woman. He raised me to understand that I am societally disadvantaged, but he told me that I was going to rise above that.
My household, my mom was so strong that my dad became so emasculated that he cannot do anything. He stopped working. He became just like a couch potato, right? Why she just went out there and kill it. And we are destroying family, as we know, because look at me. I'm in my 30s. I'm not settled down. I don't have children. I don't have this family unit that I want so terribly, because no matter how hard I tried, that feminism that I was raised with always tend to overshadow my relationship, because in my head, I know best, right? I know what's right. I know, because I saw it growing up. I saw it modeled to me growing up. A woman knows everything. We're so powerful.
But the
We're so
idea
strong.
that men are supposed to be the head of the household, do you understand that that is killing men?
That's killing men.
It is killing men.
Well, let them die, because we
It isn't, though.
they need to go back to work.
The thing that is killing men is taking them away from their families.
The pressure of it, you mean, right? The pressure?
The pressure of it is...
No, the reason men kill themselves is from loneliness, right? It's from this mass loneliness and this isolation from society. It's not when they are put at the head of the household and actually have a purpose. Purposelessness is what kills men, not pressure.
Is destroying their mental health. That's why men are 6 times more likely to commit suicide than women are, especially men in committed relationships. Men in their 40s that are married with families are the highest risk for suicide.
But it's killing men because we have generations and generations of boys who were not raised to be men and rise to that occasion.
It's killing men because we're not in a position capitalistically where we can have men be the one single head of the household, the bread earner, the decision maker. We are no longer in the 1950s. Our economy is not able to handle that kind of that kind of nuclear family with the man being the head of the household, the stay-at-home moms and the 2.5 children.
I want to clarify, I'm not a stay-at-home mom.
No,
I do work,
I
and so I
understand.
do have perspective. When you are in a long-term marriage or relationship with a partner of anyone, yes, you're going to have disagreements, but you also have to understand that each person in that partnership does have roles, because that is how a healthy family.
Exactly. The man and the woman are supposed to be able to bounce off each other to become better, use each other's unique roles to achieve something truly spectacular in raising a child.
Functions.
Only
Alright, you know what? I think I'm gonna make this video into a two-parter. Where it's pretty long already at this point, so I'm gonna pause it there. Um, yeah, I'll post part 2 later today. But yeah, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share the video. The only way we're gonna take back this country is together. So yeah, join the fight. But like I said, I'm heading out, so long. Peace out, and God bless y'all.